Now, demon, face the vengeance of the Moon Knight.
Alright, let's talk Avengers 33. It's the triumphant return of Marvel Comics. I've said this when I talked about Hawkeye last week. I like the way DC is handling the situation a little more. They're doing digital exclusives in a different way than Marvel has done, and I didn't really like what Marvel's doing. That being said, this book is on a digital exclusive, so it doesn't matter. I am only talking about this book because it is Moon Knight heavy, and here on this channel, we love Moon Knight, and I talk about Moon Knight a lot. So this book, I'm going to say right now, I'm very mixed on it. I think there's a lot that I like about it. There's a lot that I don't like about it. And overall, I don't know if I want to continue reading, which really sucks because it's Moon Knight and I love this character. So the basic premise of this book is Moon Knight is working with Khonshu again, and he is going to be kind of rising up the Egyptian power, doing something with the moon or something. I don't really know the specifics of it because they don't really explain it in this issue. So what does he need to do that? He needs to get a bunch of power from a bunch of his friends and pretty much be the bad guy. You're already doing like a heel turn, but it already feels really disingenuous and it's not going to be a real heel turn. It feels really fake. So you already lost a lot of stakes for me there. Like, I know what's going to happen here. He's going to be bad, then he's going to be good. He's going to go against Khonshu. I'm not impressed with this. I think it's pretty obvious where that's going to go, and I don't think it's that interesting. So what happens in this book, we start off on Kunlun. Moon Knight is trying to get the Iron Fist, and he successfully gets it, and then he goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum. He tries to get the Eye of Agamotto, then he gets it. He steals Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider car, and then he kind of learns how to control Mjolnir, which is really stupid. I have a lot of problems with the Mjolnir stuff in here, but that's like the least of the things I think is boring. I will say, though, the art looks really sharp. I do like the way that the lines are looking here more so than I do in previous Avengers books. I don't like Aaron's Avengers that much. I think there's a lot wrong with it that I'm not a big fan of. But in here, it looks a little better than normal. And maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing Moon Knight, so I'm okay seeing the way he looks. And I don't know. It worked for the most part for me, so I'm okay with that. I also really like, too, that he's wearing a bunch of different costumes throughout the entirety of this book. I think that's really cool to see, because you're not just seeing him in the one costume. He goes to Mr. Knight, he goes to the old school, golden bracelets and belt and emblem, Moon Knight look. He's got a bunch of different looks in here, which is really cool to see. I do think, though, that Jason Aaron likes the character. Like, I don't have this feeling that he hates him or he doesn't respect him, because there's feel like respect here. I don't know how I feel about the whole stuff where it's like everybody thought I was just crazy guy and I'm a lunatic and I can't do anything and I'm just, the schizophrenic super, I don't know how I feel about that being a part of why Mark is kind of maybe doing what he's doing to make them feel bad. That seems kind of dumb to me. But I can get by it. I mean, not a big deal. So, yeah, he gets the Iron Fist power. He gets the Eye of Agamotto. He takes down those people. Steals the car from Robbie Reyes. He goes to Black Panther and he's like, give me your shit. And then T'Challa's like, it's in my blood, bro. You're going to have to kill me. So I guess I'll just come with you if you just leave Wakanda now. So he goes with him. Then we just kind of do another thing here where with Thor shows up and he's like, you're doing pretty good shit here right now, Mark. Like, let's just step back a sec. We'll figure this out. And then Moon Knight just goes, yeah, you know what? I need your shit too. I'm going to just tell you right now. Mjolnir is one of the oldest things of all time. And what's older than a fucking moon? So your little hammer here, bro, is made of moon powers, and I'm a moon guy, so I'm going to use the hammer to beat you up. And Mark doesn't technically control Mjolnir, but the moon powers inside of him allow him to connect to the moon powers inside of Mjolnir. It seems cheap. That seemed really cheap to me, where I'm just like, I understand what you're doing here, but that doesn't mean I like it. You're doing something pretty basic, and it's not that compelling. So overall, I will say, I don't know. I do not think this is going to be a book for everyone. If you have never read a Moon Knight book, do not start here. I do not think this is where you should start with Moon Knight. This is, I think, not a betrayal of the character, but it's not a good interpretation of what you can expect from a Moon Knight book. Like I said, this obvious heel turn is really boring to me because it stops being less interesting when you realize what's going to be happening later on in the book. Because, come on. He's not going to stay the bad guy forever. He's just doing this now. And it's just, Well, it might be compelling to read if you like seeing Moon Knight just kind of beat the shit out of characters in the Marvel Universe. That could be kind of fun. But all he really does is defeat Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, and Thor. He hasn't really fought anybody else yet. The Egyptian, like just the style with all the costumes for the other mummies and the Egyptian people, it looks pretty cool. I will say that was a big highlight. And overall, I'm just not excited to see where this goes. I mean, we know Khonshu's going to be the big bad. I think that's been apparent the entirety of this story. So I got nothing else really that excites me about this book. I think it's great to see Moon Knight come back, but this is not how I want to see him come back. I still think this is going to lead into maybe a mini-series or something involving Moon Knight and Jason Aaron. I 100% see that happening, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But until that happens, it is satisfying enough where if you like the character, you're going to get good moments of him pretty much beating the shit out of the Marvel Universe. But if this is your first time reading Moon Knight, I just want you to know this is not the interpretation of the character that we've seen years before. And this is not the character in his entirety. There's so much more to him, and he's not this guy who just goes around beating up people at the sake of Khonshu. He's evolved a long way from that. Does it seem like a digression? No, it doesn't seem like a move forward, though. So thank you for watching this review, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Coming this week to Patreon is the Weekly Pull. It's smaller than a normal episode, but it's returning. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Tsunami Studios.